YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and we are with another Heir's faction focus, and this time, in alphabetical order, of course, the Boii. So the Boii are pretty much, for the most part, just like the Arverni, except worse because they don't have the Vercingetorix's general general skill type. So really, in my opinion, the Boii can be fun to use in certain situations, but are utterly without a prayer when it comes to the overall like power factions. If you all watched my What I Want in Patch 10 video, you'll see that, well, let's take a look at it. So basically, the Boii have just a little bit of everything, but they're not great in any one thing, and they really don't have anything unique other than the Sword Follower unit, which really isn't all that fantastic. Good weapon damage. Their charge bonus is pathetic for a Barbarian unit. It ought to be better. Look at that, 35 on the Oathsworn. Why not on these guys? I mean, these guys need all the help they can get. They suck. So I really wish that they would go ahead and increase the charge bonus, and then increase the charge bonus further on the Oathsworn. Because again, if you watch What I Want in Patch 10, I mean, Oathsworn really aren't worth it right now against certain units, like Avocati Cohort, for instance. So I actually, of course, I've been playing battles on these to show you, and some of you are like, your opponent sucked. It's my opponent's the AI. And you might be, well, why aren't you playing against a real player? It takes a lot of time to set that up, and this just gives me a chance to show you all what's going on. But anyway, let's walk through their troops. So melee infantry, they've got Celtic warriors, sword followers, and Oathsworn. The only thing new here is the sword followers, which again, high weapon damage unit. The charge bonus isn't even all that good. Good melee defense, good armor, crappy health really, and decent morale. Their health is pretty poor actually when compared to a Roman unit. Well, I say that, it's only 5 less, my bad. So not bad. A decent sword unit, but again, no formation attack. And since this unit doesn't have formation attack, I honestly think it should be cheaper. Because it's really got less to offer than a Roman unit of the same price that does have formation attack and is better. So I almost think this unit should be cheaper. Spear units, they've got a nice variety, everything from cheap to medium to, veteran spears are pretty good. Why do the veteran spears have less attack than the spear warriors? Oh, that doesn't make any sense. They just get more melee defense, armor, health, and morale. So that hardly seems worth it. So again, what the heck's up with that? As far as their skirmishers go, just the basic Celtic type skirmishers, nothing real good here. And then their cav is the same as the Arverni. So this faction is really very similar to the Arverni, except not as good, because the Arverni have a few extra units, which I think just in general makes them a better faction. But I mean, it's another Celtic faction. If you like that kind of thing, that is what it is. So I'll go ahead and load the replay from this one, Boii. I had to tone down the Roman army just to even make these guys work very well. So I mean, I gave them just standard legionnaires and a couple of eagle cohorts, a bunch of Sake Equites, which you very well could run into. And so there's a few things that will be interesting to point out here. The AI does nothing special, of course, but I'll go ahead and fast forward and show you a few points to point out about some of the Boii troops. They don't have shot cav, just like all the other barbarian factions lack shot cav. But when you're using their cav, if you use the frenzied charge ability when going into shot cav, it will help you a lot, because it's going to increase the charge damage of your own unit and your melee attack. I think the melee attack, could be wrong actually, but I think it increases the charge damage at least. And heavy horse with the frenzied charge are pretty strong. And of course, my noble horse that I have back here as well is also even stronger when you use the frenzied charge. So let's kind of watch what happens here.
For the gods! Charge!
Get a charge into these Sake Equites. They're going to get the better of that charge for sure, and I'm losing men fairly quick there. So you can see that even with the frenzied charge, definitely not an even fight, even against the cheapest of shot cav. So really fortunate for me that the AI doesn't know how to use its cav. I've still only killed one of their men. So if you brought these guys into the fight against the Sake Equites after the engagement started, you'd be alright. Here, look at this, just slam the Roman Velites with my noble horse, because they were unprotected. And I figured this would be a good time to charge all my sword followers. So we'll get you a little close-up action. You can see that, my guys do alright on the charge, because the Roman troops are really built for formation. But, I mean, overall they're just inferior to the Roman troops. And this fight here in the center would go to the favor of the Romans eventually, just because they'll grind down my men. So now if you watch, my sword followers are going to slow down in their number of kills. So I have to run something here, so I bring in a frenzied charge from my noble horse, and this is the kind of fight that a noble horse will actually be pretty good at, and that frenzied charge really does give them a pretty devastating effect. You can see it increase their charge bonus all the way up to 54, which is at the base end of a shot cav, basically. Even though it's a melee cav, so quite useful. I'm going to bring in another frenzied charge, or I don't know if there's a frenzied charge, but bring in another rear charge in that cohort. If these were Avocati cohort, my men would just die. So again, that's why I say the Boii, I mean, they can be fun to use in the right situation, but if you play against Rome, and the Roman player brings the Avocati cohort, and you're the Boii, good luck, because you're going to need it. You're not going to have an easy time breaking their infantry. Same thing if they were to bring something like Armored Legionnaires or other units like that, you would have a very hard time breaking them. You'd have to make very good use of your javelins, and you'd have a hard time because their cav is better, plus they could bring elephants. I didn't give the AI elephants in this particular point, so I was able to crush them here just because the AI is kind of stinky. But in general, don't count on them. The Boii, if you're looking for a challenge, Boii versus Rome would be a fun challenge, I think. Otherwise, I'd keep them to other roles. You all saw me play against Egypt with them once too, which I wouldn't always recommend, but in that case turned out pretty fun. But in any case, so overall faction recommendation for the Boii, I don't recommend the Boii to new players unless you're wanting to use them in campaign. You'll do fine in campaign. I mean, they're not great, but they'd be just about like any other barbarian faction. So if you want to use them in campaign, go for it. If you want to use them just for fun, go for it. But if you're a beginner player online, I wouldn't recommend starting with the Boii just because they really don't have much special to offer. Kind of a tricky faction to use. Again, not saying that they're bad necessarily, but they don't really have any particular skill types that would be easier for new players to use, I don't think. So hopefully that fills you in a little bit on what I think of the Boii. Heir of Carthage, signing off for now.